This is my post activity for my observing video. I observed a kindergarten classroom at the elementary school where I teach. There were 22 students in the class whenever I came in. It was right after breakfast. So they had cleaned up, and it was about 8:15. They were starting their day. I was there for their morning routine. They did a welcome song. They did the alphabet. They did the days of the week, calendar, letter sounds, differentiating between capital letters and lowercase letters. They went over their behavior from the previous day and their behavior goals for that current day. They went over their objectives and what they planned to learn that day. They had lots of songs. They did some movement songs where they were up and down for the alphabet. Each letter they moved. So A, they would be standing up. B, they'd be sitting down. C, they'd be standing up. D, they'd be sitting down. Some of the letters had hand movements that went with it, or body, like stomping and clapping. So I got to observe all of their morning routine time, and they were all very aware of it. They knew exactly what they should be doing, so they had practiced that a lot. I got to see them break up into small groups. I was there for a really short time. Once I got to their centers, some were at a small group with the teacher, some were at there were 3 other centers in the classroom. So I got to see them transition to that and how they were working for about 5 minutes in each of those centers. So for my analysis of the instructional strategies, she shared all of them with me before we started, and I did see evidence of all of those during the video. Like she described, there was lots of movements, and she's all about whole brain learning. So she wanted them to be using their whole body when they were learning. So it's just a better memory for them. So for the alphabet, they have hand movements and hand signals, and they could remember those really well when I was there watching all of them. I noticed I didn't really see anyone that didn't know what they were supposed to be doing. So the hand movements were working very well, and it kept them engaged. So if they might have been sleepy after breakfast or tired or whatever, you couldn't even tell. I mean, they were all really engaged with what the rest of the class was doing. And she shared this with me also, that they would be using lots of songs and videos to keep them engaged. So they might be doing a song at the carpet and then move to the other side of the room to watch a video on the Promethean board and then move back. And the transitions were really smooth. They knew exactly when to move, where to go, and then when to start the next group. So that was really awesome to see from kindergartners, because I have 5th grade and sometimes it's hard for them to do that. So the differentiation I saw, I didn't really have a chance to see too much of it because I was only there for the morning routine and like 5 minutes of centers. But I did see she reached all types of learners through the morning routines with the movements, the singing, the videos. There was lots of visuals that she showed, lots of flashcards, lots of cues that told them what they were doing next. So that reached a wide variety of the learners that she had in her classroom. And whenever they were answering any kind of questions like what letter is this or what sound is this, she allowed them to answer as a whole group. So one student didn't have to feel nervous about answering the question. They all answered together, and everyone felt really comfortable sharing their answers, and they all knew when they should answer and what they should say. So it made them, like the students that might have been low and not sure of the answer, were more comfortable with sharing their answers. For student engagement, it was really high. I was surprised by this because this is like the 3rd week of school, and they're kindergarten, they're 5, so they were very engaged. They were all excited about the song. They were very motivated by it, and they wanted to keep going with the next answer and the next song. And then we moved, and they watched a song about contractions and compound words, and they all knew what that was. And every song that they sang or video that they watched had a hand movement to go with it, like hand gestures and stomping and clapping, and they all knew the routine, and they were all really, really engaged in the activities that I watched. They were all participating. What went well, I think, was the transition. So after they were done with their morning routine, she had a bell that she rang, and then they moved from the carpet to their center, and they all knew what center to go to. Maybe they had discussed that before I got there, or it's just the same every Monday or something, but they all knew exactly where to go. So they transitioned to the centers. That took about 30 seconds, and they were there working. She had a group at her table, and it was very smooth and perfect. I mean, they all went to their spot, sat down, and started working, which was really awesome. And once they got to their spot, they were working. I only saw about 5 minutes of their centers, but they sat down and got to business. They knew exactly what they should be doing. What would I change? During their morning routine, they went over behavior from the previous day, so where they had moved their clips. And if someone ended up on purple, that was awesome. They had a great day yesterday. But if someone had ended up on red, she shared with the class, oh, this friend ended on red yesterday. They had a bad day. We're going to work for a better day today. So I kind of would maybe change that if I was in that classroom, just so that you don't, what happened yesterday, you kind of want to move past. You're working towards a better current day. And I don't really think it's best practice to share everyone's behavior, positive or negative, in front of the whole class. So I might have changed that if I was in the room. What was surprising was how attentive and independent they were. So during the songs and the morning routines, they were very attentive, participating, listening, singing. And then the independent time, once they moved to independent center, she had 3 kids at her table that she was working with, the teacher. And then the other kids were working either on compound word puzzles or silent reading or computer stations, and they could work independently. They could sit at the table and do what they needed to do, which I thought was really surprising for the 3rd week of a kindergarten classroom. In a way this might transform my practice, I think, would be showing me all different grade levels, because right now I really only have experience in 5th grade. This is my 3rd year teaching 5th grade, and that's what I have the most experience in. I don't know a lot about kindergarten, so I think observing different grade levels would definitely be helpful for me as an administrator to know what it's like in a kindergarten classroom and know what it's like at different age levels and what's appropriate for each different age. So I was glad that I got to observe kindergarten and see what that's like.